A few weeks back, Leica has introduced 2 new firmware updates for the SL lineup. Firmware 4.1 for the SL2, firmware 3.1 for the SL2-S, and they're touting these as very big updates, especially for the SL2-S. 12-bit video, ProRes Raw 422, ProRes Raw 422 HQ, BlackMagic Raw. All of that can now be utilized within the SL2-S. Of course, you have to record externally to an Atomos Ninja V, Ninja V Plus, or BlackMagic variant, but it can be done now, which is very interesting. As a matter of fact, this portion of the video is being recorded in ProRes Raw 422 HQ with the Atomos Ninja V. 4K 30, I'm shooting a log, and then I'll grade it with one of Leica's LUTs, natural or classic, as we go into this video. So with that, let's talk about these brand new updates and the SL2 and SL2-S. Before we kick things off, big thanks to Leica Singapore for providing the camera and the lenses. Having said that, these are my thoughts and my thoughts only. Also, if you haven't done so, please subscribe to the channel, like this video, helps me out a lot. Okay, we are gonna talk about some of the features that I think really stand out for me and for some of you out there. And I think, of course, the SL2-S has much more in terms of video. Not all of you are going to be recording raw video for that matter, but I will dive into that. And of course, you're seeing a prime example of ProRes Raw 422 HQ in 4K 30 for this entire review. So you're seeing that happening right here, right now with the SL2-S. Okay, the first thing we got to talk about is autofocus, because this is a make it or break it feature for pretty much any mirrorless camera system out there. And the Lumix lineup and Leica's lineup are contrast-based systems. And for a lot of people out there, they don't want to deal with it. They feel the autofocus isn't consistent. You don't get all the features that you get in phase detect, yada, yada, yada. I get that. Okay, with these new firmware updates, I can safely say Leica has really addressed this in a big way, and it was the most impressive thing for me out of all of the features added into the SL2 or SL2-S. Case in point, you now have eye recognition. That's right, eye recognition, and it's not like eye recognition that is we saw sort of in the Lumix S1R, S1H, S1S5 lineup. No, with that kind of like grid. No, you have boxes around the eye, and you can select which eye you want to be in focus. Just press down on the joystick, and you can select which eye, and you're gonna get the shot. And it is great, and it sticks on the eye very well. And in terms of distance, around 5 to 6 meters away from my subject, it stayed on, no issues at all. And then if it loses the subject's eyes, it grabs the face. So you're still good no matter what. This was very impressive for me because I wasn't expecting to see something like this out of a contrast-based system. Usually, this is only for phase detect. We're now seeing this implemented. And if you're wondering, is the SL2-S better than the SL2 in this regard? Actually, they're very comparable. I might give the edge to the SL2-S ever so slightly, but I tested both cameras back to back and I didn't see much of a discernible difference. So if you're worried about that, do not be. Now, of course, the SL2-S with the backside illuminated sensor will benefit in some areas where it's lower light. It may grab on the focusing a little bit more and be a little bit more sticky, but in ample lighting, no issues at all. So if you're doing wedding photography, portrait photography, events, and there's ample lighting, you're gonna be fine with both of these cameras. Okay, but one thing, let's talk about the autofocusing system. Unfortunately, there's no animal or bird detection in this. So I went to the zoo with both of these cameras, and I was using the Lumix 70-200 f2.8 lens to sort of go out there and capture animals, and I was getting subject detection at times, depending on the background, but I was not getting eye detect, which is something maybe will come in the near future. So if you are into wildlife or birding, just rely on other focusing methods, but you're still gonna get the shot. I got plenty of shots in focus, even without eye detection, so no issues at all in that regard. Okay, let's move on to quick change autofocusing meter from the last used position to center. Now, this is an interesting feature. Now, a lot of times you can the camera will automatically recenter an autofocusing point back to the center. But what's cool about this is actually you can choose 2 points, center and then wherever else you want on the display or on your EVF for that matter. So let's say you're going, I have a subject on my left, but I want to go back to center, then I want to go back to left right away to that same exact position. This feature will allow you to do that, and it's a feature that you can assign in the function menu, and it works well. As a matter of fact, it's a feature that I thought it would just be one of these, I'm like, okay, it's there, I see it in the write-up, but am I actually going to use it? But I did. And I can see how this can be implemented in other cases as well. Events, weddings, portrait photography, group photography, for that matter. Even animals, you can do this as well. If you have 2 subjects that you want to focus and you know one's gonna be there and one's here and you don't want to keep dragging that autofocus point back and forth with the joystick, this one touch, bam, 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 it's immediate. And it's It's great. I really enjoyed this. Another feature that I really liked was having access to the ISO from the front wheel or the thumb dial. That's right, you can now assign this inside the camera in various different modes: program, aperture priority, shutter priority, or manual. And this is great because sometimes we want instant access to our ISO for whatever reason, light changes, whatever the case may be. You don't want to go into your submenus and yada, yada, yada. It just takes too long. This makes it a lot easier. I'm very, very happy with that. Trust me, it really helped me out in lower light situations. Also, now you can adjust the ISO even further from 1/2 EVF to 1/3 EVF, so keep that in mind. Colors on the SL2 are now more in line with the SL2-S. So if you're worried about that whole HDR look that the SL2 had in the very beginning that some photographers complained about, it is now balanced out. Both of these cameras are right on par with one another, which is a very big deal. Also, the LCD panel and the EVF deactivate automatically to save power. As we know, the battery life on the SL2 and SL2-S isn't the greatest, so you got to conserve that battery life, and this will help you do so. So that is a really cool feature, and of course you can adjust the timing of the power off inside the camera as well. You can also mark your photos as favorite if you want to do that, which helps you if you need to go back and reference it for clients and all that great stuff. Okay, let's talk about video functionality, especially in the SL2-S. You now have 4K RAW video recording, 12-bit with the Atomos Ninja V and Ninja V Plus. I'm doing that right now with ProRes Raw 422HQ. Also, you have the ability to record in BlackMagic Raw with BlackMagic Video Assist 12G HDR, which is very impressive. This is the thing that I'm liking what Leica's doing now with video, is they're really getting into this video line. Now, of course, they make cine lenses and they've been into this scene for quite some time, but we're now seeing the SL lineup of cameras mature for the cinematographer, the videographer, because video is now taking over. Will this bring in new people to the system? Who knows? It's nice to have these features there, and I've been testing it out, and I will say that they work really well. The image quality is absolutely beautiful. Make sure you have the computing power to process this video though, because it will be very taxing. I have a MacBook Pro 16-inch M1 Max edition. It's pretty much almost maxed out, so this will work okay with that, but keep that in mind, okay? And also have enough memory on your Atomos Ninja V, Ninja V Plus to record this footage as well. Now let's talk about video for a second internally on this. Now, of course, you can record an MOV and MP4, but your out of camera video, I find the color science to be not as subtle as the photo. What I mean by that is the image tends to be very contrasty, very punchy, very saturated. And yes, you can adjust these settings inside the camera system. It's not as good as how it looks when you're taking photos with the SL2 or SL2-S. So hopefully Leica can adjust that in the near future. But I am shooting in log for the most part, and that's something that I'm doing with the SL2-S and even SL2 for that matter, because of the color science that's in the video portion of it. The log will give me that ability to sort of color grade my image the way I want it to be. And of course, you can also put LUT previews in there as well. So if you want to see what it looks like with a certain LUT, you can do that inside the camera. So man, I'm happy with what Leica is doing with the video portion of these things. And it just kind of gives you an idea of what's to come in the future with the SL lineup. I don't know what they're going to have come out. I don't know when it's coming out, but if they have an SL3 or SL3S, this is going to be a very competitor for videographers and cinematographers out there. I'm just saying, based on what I'm seeing right now. So those are some of the features that I really enjoyed on this camera system thus far. Try to give you some sample footage throughout this video as much as I can with that. Of course, you're seeing video and real time, how it performs and how it focuses and all that great stuff. But these firmware updates, 4.1 and 3.1 for the SL2 and SL2-S respectively, have breathed new life into this camera system. And I think a lot of you out there who already own this camera, who are a little bit like, when's Leica gonna get up to par with these other camera systems out there? I think you're gonna be really impressed with this. If you're in the market and you're potentially looking at an SL2 or SL2, this may be something to reconsider again, because the autofocus has improved quite a bit. The other functionality has been improved. And I think the image quality coming out of these cameras, as everybody said from the very beginning, is absolutely fantastic. And in terms of build quality, folks, it doesn't get much better than this. It really doesn't. This is a beautifully built camera, and it's a joy to pick up and use. I mean, there are a few cameras out there that bring this kind of joy, and the Leica SL lineup definitely does that. Anyway, those are my thoughts on the updates for the SL2, SL2-S. Let me know your thoughts in the comment section below. Do you agree with me? If there's any other questions you have, I will try to answer those for you. Once again, if you like this video, like it, subscribe to the channel, hit that notification bell as well. More videos are coming. Take care, stay safe, and I'll chat to you soon.